Hi, Carl. Thanks for meeting with me today. I know your time is valuable. I wanted to go over a few things um, about how we can get our information up and running in a virtual machine in the cloud. So the first thing I did was go to Docker, which I've got pulled up right here. I signed in with my credentials, something easy. It's T Soraya, and then we gave the repository a name of DBA underscore class underscore repository. And if you, so that you just click create at that point. But if you go to Windows PowerShell and you type in the command docker ps, it'll bring up the container ID, the images, names, commands, status, all that information, and you can use that to push and pull. So I ran the command docker commit with the name of the container, my username, and the repository name. And an important thing to note here is you do have to add a tag. So a tag is preceded by a colon. And then right here, it'll show you with .database underscore restored is what I called it. So I ran that command. And an important thing to remember is refresh, 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 because it's not always going to show up right away. I ran into that problem when I tried to pull from, I pulled to the hub from Docker, and I wasn't sure why it wasn't showing up. So when I went back into Docker, the display bar was only halfway there. So I went ahead and went to Google Cloud and created an instance. So I've got it right here, but I wanted to walk you through what I did. So we're going to click on Compute Engine, VM Instance, New Instance. We could call it whatever is going to remind us about why we created this instance. We'll just leave it as instance 1 for now. US Central 1 Iowa, US Central 1-A is going to keep the cost down, which I know is important for the company. Right here on machine type, for this kind of job, you only need an E2 small. So if you click on that, already you see you've gone down over $10. In the disk space, we can also change that. Right now it's at a balanced persistent disk. We want that at standard and hit select. On the containers, we're going to deploy the container, and the container image has a specific URL. So it's going to be mcr.microsoft.com/msql/server dot 2019-latest. And we're going to hit select. And we're going to allow HTTPS traffic. That just makes sure that we're allowing secure traffic. And at this point, I hit create, but we're not going to do it again. But we do want to create a firewall. So let's go to VPC network. You can find that under the hamburger button. And we'll go to firewall, create a firewall rule. Just name it Soraya Tanner. I've already gone ahead and done this. I just want to show you what I did. Actually, what I named it was MySQL TCP 49433. And TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. And we use this for organizing data for security between the user and the client. The number 49433 refers to the port we're using. So let's continue down. The default, we've got the default network. We're going to use our specified service account. And then down here, make sure TCP is selected, and you want to make sure it's got the right port on there. Oh, it didn't like something I did. Let's go fix that really quick. It might be because I've already created it. And then I wanted to show, so we've done all that. If we now go to Microsoft SQL Server, I purposefully made sure it was down so that we can show that we're signing in as localhost 49433, and I've got the username and password, and we connect, and this is the connection that we made on Docker. So because of that, our backups are no longer there, because we hadn't had this set up when we did the backups. So if we go to databases, let's take this master, for example. Go to tasks, backup. We want to do a full backup on the database. And it was completed successfully. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk again next week.